of 68 after dark.
What's up? Welcome into Field of 68 After Dark, presented by BetMGM. If you're listening on SiriusXM Channel 84, you get us every night, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Matt McCall, the Marquette legend, Jarrell McNeil. I'm Dallin Cuff. McCall, before we start, I see you're trying to clean out the chips out of your teeth with your tongue. Bro, what's up, man? We got to get you some – what's happening in the Peacock studio? Why can't we get you dinner, man? They take care of you over there. I know that.
They take care of us. Yeah, they take care of us. I was too busy breaking down Oregon's 12 points in the first half today. Like 12 points by the Oregon Ducks. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You're a better man than me, man, because if as that half was going on, I just been like, let me focus on my dinner order. This is really what I'm worried about. We got to make sure the calf delivers. The Grumpy Grill guy's got to take care of us. I need some food. I'm hungry. But we're glad you're here, brother. We're glad you're here. We're going to touch on, I mean, we got so much going on right now. We had 4 bids punched. Gonzaga's, we'll see if they hold on. They're up 7 right now. This was a free throw against Santa Clara in the West Coast Conference. Congratulations to Hofstra. Speedy Claxton was a great scene afterwards, emotional as he takes his alma mater back to the tournament for the first time in 25 years. Wright State comes back from being down, got stops, made shots. They win the Horizon. Siena is about to hold on and win and punch their ticket. GMAC getting to the dance for the first time as a head coach, and we'll see what happens with Gonzaga. We'll touch on some of those things later. We'll get to some of the Big 12, the SEC, Big East, and tomorrow's Big 10 later in the show. We're going to start things with the A block, though, as they TV terms here. ACC and the bubble situation. Let's go positive first. We got a lot of bubblicious teams in that league. Look at McCall's face. SMU does win. They get a big win over Cuse. They move forward to take on Louisville. Jarrell, what'd you take away from Boopy's 25 and their performance today?
Yeah, it was the most impressive performance out of all the bubble teams, obviously, because the other couple lost. But Boopy Miller was fantastic, really start to finish. I think they didn't have a lot going. I feel like Syracuse zone slowed them down a little bit early on, but then eventually they just kind of start nitpicking. Toombs was great playing out of the high post area. I think he finished with almost kind of on triple-double alert. He finished with like 6 assists. He had a double-double with points and rebounds as well, too. But Boopy Miller kept him steady, and then eventually Pierre kind of got it going as well, too. He got hot, ended up finishing off the game on a hot run. But the biggest thing that stood out to me was just that Syracuse wasn't able to rebound out of the zone either. I think SMU finished with like 19 offensive rebounds. So even when they got stops, that's kind of what kept SMU afloat early on. They were able to get multiple possessions, multiple shots at it, get to the free throw line as well, too, and they did a good job of taking care of the ball.
Jarrell, have you ever taken 17 threes in a game? Have you ever taken 17 threes in a game? 17
individually,
threes?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
not.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely not.
Let
I didn't have that
fly.
luxury, Matt. 17 shots. 17 shots, maybe, not threes.
17 shots. Like 17 shots. Okay, 17 threes. It's like at some point here, if you're Syracuse, and I know you're playing zone, run the guy off the 3-point line. Now, he only made 5 of them, but still, what a game. What a performance by Boopy Miller. Boopy Miller, to me, and it was, again, big win for us. They needed it to strengthen their bubble, right? Like, they needed it to strengthen. As the bubble gets bigger, it's getting ready to pop. They need that bubble to shrink. That's what happens with this win. It shrinkens a little bit more, trying to get into the field. But Boopy Miller, to me, is a guy that, like, you could see in one shining moment. Like, you could see him, make a shot to advance to the second round. He is so fun to watch. The way he plays the game, he has the thing on a string, and he plays with such great pace. And he's also great at changing speeds and changing directions. So you look at his stat line, 25 points, he's 9 of 15 from the field, 7 rebounds from the guard spot. It's just he's one of those guys. So good win. They needed it. That bubble gets a little bit smaller for them. We'll see how they are tomorrow.
And, of course, they did it again without B.J. Edwards. I mean, he's still out injured. He's not going to play in the ACC tournament. So if they're going to punch their ticket, they got to do it without a really good player. I can imagine they were coming into that game pretty juiced up because they watched Stanford lay an egg first, and they knew that's one of those teams that's on that bubble with them. And I love Kyle, and you're not supposed to root in this business, but screw it, I was rooting for Stanford, and it was tough to watch the amount of rebounds that Pitt got. I think they had 25 second chance points. They just could not clean up their glass. And Stanford's now going to like putting SMU in a better situation as you look at their numbers. Stanford falls, Virginia Tech falls to Wake Forest in a wild game that both teams almost hit a century mark. Terrell, what do you think that does for you, not just to win the game, but then to have direct competition falter in front of you? What do you think that does for them tomorrow as they take on Louisville?
I mean, it's a situation this time of year, and essentially it's the same for everybody, but it's more at stake for these teams that are on the bubble, and it's one game at a time. And all of these teams right now going into today had their destiny in their own hands. You win, you get yourself number one, you get a quality win because you're in a good ACC or a better ACC this year. And the next thing is that you get yourself at an even better win the next day, which is what everybody's playing for at this point, is the opportunity to get one more. And then, but you got your destiny in your own hand. You know, you win, you continue on, you can seal your fate and kind of play yourself out of the bubble this week for some of these teams. So I essentially see it as them being able to see exactly what they did need to do. And you kind of already alluded to it, Darryn, but Stanford didn't really have that sense of urgency today. And for me, that was the difference in that game. Like, man, they gave up 20 offensive rebounds as well. Got a number of stops and just weren't able to close it out, even though they were up at the end. And it was offensive rebound that did them in as well, too, with the game winner. So, you know, you can't let a guy get his own rebound after missing a point-blank shot. So, you know, just that sense of urgency, it had to be a message for those guys. They knew what they needed to get done. They needed to at least win this first one and then come back, get some rest, and see what happens in the next game.
Yeah, I think Jarrell, too, they look tight. They look like a team that was on the bubble with the turnovers and everything. Like they look like a team that was on the bubble. SMU didn't play that way. Now the zone probably helps because you're not being pressured. They're not, you know, they're not picking you up at half court and you're trying to initiate offense versus a zone. So maybe that played a factor for SMU, a little more comfortable in that game. I just thought Stanford they looked like a team that knew, hey, we got to win this game to get in the NCAA tournament. And they played that way, almost nervous, especially some of the turnovers in the first half. It just looked that way. And it's unfortunate because Coach Smith had this team, you know, in a position which, you know, Dallin, we had one of the greatest Stanford players of all time on Sirius XM earlier today, Channel 84. And he was fired up for his squad, Casey Jacobson, you know, for the opportunity of this is a big win. He even said he had his Stanford colors on. They seem nervous in the game. And, you know, for a team that, you know, was in a completely different conference, now they're in the ACC. It makes no sense to any of us why they're in that league. Have an opportunity to get your team to the NCAA tournament. Everything that was on the line, it almost just seemed like they played a little tense. They played a little nervous. That's why you had some of those turnovers. And, you know, good for Coach Capel. I mean, we all hear all these rumors about who's on Jeff Goodman's hot seat, who's next, what job's going to open, this job going to open. Is this guy on the hot seat? Is that his team played inspired? You know, his team's played inspired. So, you know, good for Coach Capel and this bunch to advance. But I just felt like this Stanford bunch, they seem nervous.
Yeah,
tough spot, man.
Matt, and
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say on top of that too. Just I felt like and this is kind of who they are. It's not like it was just this game or that they were playing tight, but just, man, they rely so much on Okori, and I felt like Pitt did a really good job. My guy Polo took the challenge and was all over him all night, and they limited some of his opportunities and looks, but that kind of just bogged their offense down a lot. Like, you know what I mean? They had 10 turnovers, 9 assists tonight. You know, the ball wasn't hopping around much. It was more so like you were relying on a bunch of guys outside of your one dynamic guard who can create shots for other people to do things that they weren't necessarily asked to do pretty much all year. So I think that kind of added to it as well, too. And they weren't able to make enough shots to kind of put the pressure back on Pitt, who was just crashing the glass at a crazy rate this game as well, too.
I mean, Chisholm Akpara's injury has been big, and he would have definitely helped on the glass there for the Cardinal. You mentioned Casey Jacobson. He did pose a really good question to us as the host of the radio show. Where do they go with his points? Are they Pac-12 record points? And we don't know, but I think it's a very good question for a Pac-12 legend. Where are my points? Where are my records actually going? It's a very fair question, which we don't really have the answer for that.
I never
when
thought
you look
about
at
that.
you probably you might have, you got to think about it too.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great
Yeah.
So good.
When you look at like Stanford's situation, so in the fielding the 68 right now, you got Stanford, the second to last team out, or second. What's second? They're the second of the first four out. I don't. How would you word that? I don't know. Second team out. There we go. I'm a wordsmith, folks. I get paid to talk. My brain's not working. You see where their net hurts a little bit. Their quad 1 and 2 record combined was actually 9-8, which was solid. You see their quad 1 record is 5-6. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They do have some tough losses there too. Virginia Tech also fell to Wake Forest in the late game, who also now they're the first team out per fielding 68. Do you guys think that with the teams ahead of them per fielding the 68, you got an NC State who plays tomorrow, and a chance to solidify their resume? SMU we just went over, obviously plays Louisville. VCU starts the A-10 tournament, the quarterfinal round, which is Thursday, which is Friday, excuse me. And then IU is in a tough situation too, within a big game tomorrow as well. Are these two teams in the ACC done? They can't improve their resume, but will anybody drop behind them, or do you think it's NIT time for Virginia Tech and Stanford? Matt, you go first.
Well, the frustrating part for Coach Smith is he's sitting here going, okay, we're talking about SMU, and we're talking about SMU getting into the field. Stanford beat them by 20. Yeah. 95-75. So he's probably going, sitting there in his hotel room or back, in California tonight if the charter was able to make it back from Charlotte all the way across the country. Mm. He's sitting there saying, oh, wait a second. SMU with winning today, they're in and we're out, and we beat them by 20? That's the hard pill to swallow with all of this, is the head-to-head matchups with these teams on the bubble, who's in, who's out. But for both of these teams, SMU or Virginia Tech and Stanford, they needed this. Like they needed at least one win in the ACC tournament to get in, and they didn't get it. It's just a tough pill to swallow. That's the part of the NCAA tournament that, you scratch your head when it comes down to these last few teams in. But you have an opportunity to win the tournament, and you just didn't get it done. So it's tough. But he's going to look at that, especially if SMU gets in, because their record in conference was better. That's not being rewarded. So we'll see what happens with SMU, but that's what Coach Smith is probably struggling with right now.
They also beat NC State at NC State in their last week too. So let's not forget that. NC State's one of the ACC is bubblicious. It was the SEC like a week and a half ago. Now I feel like it's that league right now. Terrell, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I think they both kind of sealed their deal, unless essentially they're rooting for the teams that are also bubble teams that'll be playing tomorrow to lose. Like, you need Indiana, you need Auburn, you need NC State. You need all these teams to essentially lose, which on the flip side of that, I'm sure those teams that are playing tomorrow who are watching these games tonight, that's probably some added motivation as well, too. So now they're looking at this as an opportunity. If we can win one, get ourselves another game, we could probably end up on the right side of this thing with some of these other teams that were on the bubble as well, dropping some games outside of SMU. And then if you SMU, you still want to continue to carry on and try to get one more win out of it as well, too, just to continue to stack it up. So,
you know what, Dallin, too? Like one more point on this, like the ironic thing is, if you take those three teams, let's just take SMU, let's take Virginia Tech, and let's take Stanford. Stanford beat them both. So we're talking about the bubblicious teams of the ACC and NC State. Put all four of them in there. They won those games. So, how much will the committee take into factor head-to-head matchup with those four teams from the ACC?
I say this all the time, though. The bubble is not a vacuum. Everybody else affects each other. So as these other teams are moving around, people have a chance. Auburn has a great opportunity to improve their record. Doesn't look like they will, but they got a great opportunity. VCU has a chance to get themselves to almost get an automatic bid and potentially steal a bid because they can lock one in. Indiana. That's why you just having the opportunity to improve your record is all that your resume is all that matters right now. The chance to play another day to improve it.
At this point, does it matter who you lose to? This is what I was thinking about. Like, I don't know, losing to a Pitt team right now. I don't know. I mean, it almost couldn't get any worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not sure that even matters because obviously they're all in the conference, but man, that's a reeling team right now. And, you know, essentially from all the rumors, you know, another coach, like you said earlier, that's on the hot seat of maybe losing his job at the end of the year or whatever it may be. But I think that loss that it being to Pitt is almost, I don't know, I ain't gonna say double, but it's like, you know, I think that kind of changes the perspective of it as well too. Even with all the other stuff, like you said, they beat the other two teams in conference, they had a better record, but it's like, yeah, you essentially could have sealed your deal. You had the opportunity to beat Pitt in the first round of the ACC tournament, and you couldn't get that done on the neutral court. I don't know, I just don't think it bodes well, but I'm not sure if that even comes into play at all.
It's a great point because here's what I think: it's human nature. Because it's technically on the neutral court. It's a Q2 loss, so it won't look that bad by paper. But we all remember what just happened this past week. Like I'm not sure you can identify their Q2 losses or Q1 wins, all of them off our head. We're not going to be able to do that. Neither as a committee member without looking at the team sheet and looking through it and be like, okay, here it is. But we remember what just happened. It's a recency bias. Like, man, you had a chance to beat Pitt to get in. That hurts, and that's why it's like you got to win that one game just to have a chance. And it seems like they're not in a good spot right now. But before we get off this, I do want you to talk SMU and Louisville because this is the chance SMU has now against a Louisville team that, you know, we don't know what the deal is with Michael Brown. You could argue at times they played better without Michael Brown. So what do you make of tomorrow's game, Drill? How do you feel about SMU with a chance against a Louisville team that's in the dance but has been, you know, enigmatic at best?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you couldn't pretty much draw it up any better for SMU because now they got a chance to get a very quality win over a Louisville team, one that's shorthanded. I agree with you to an extent, Dallin, about how they had moments where they played better. They had to figure it out early on in the year. But for me, that Louisville team and Michael Brown he is the catalyst of that team. And that team, for them to be special and really even relevant this year is when he's healthy and playing at a high level. And you know, they're one of the highest producing and highest scoring offenses and things like that. But I expect it to be an up and down game. It's probably going to be a high scoring shootout kind of game. It should be a fun one. They still got some other pieces and guys over there that can fill it up with Conwell. You obviously got Boopy Miller and Pierre on the SMU side. So it should be a fun game to watch. And I'm sure SMU will be motivated to come out and have a good showing.
These two teams split the regular season, but the most recent game was in Dallas, and SMU scored 95 points. 95. So, and that's with Michael Brown Jr. playing in the game and going for 29. So can Louisville slow this offense down? Can they contain Boopy Miller? Can they contain Pierre? Both guys coming off huge games tonight. Like, that's going to be, you know, something to pay attention to, especially early in the game. If you're Coach Andy Enfield, there's a lot at stake. We win this game, we're in the field. There's no more bubble. We're not talking about you know, being bubblicious anymore. We're in the field, but we can't go out and play like that. We can't go out and play tense in the game. Cut it loose. You're saying to your guards to start the game, go out there and cut it loose. Booby, be who you are. Go do it. Pierre, if you want to take 17 threes, try to get 20 up tomorrow because we've already scored 95 points against these guys. So we know we can
Louisville gonna try too.
Like, let's go. This is going to be a track meet. This is one of the more intriguing matchups of the entire day. It really is.
Yeah, it should be a good one. And again, all to play for, and Louisville's playing for seeding. But again, this would be a big win because I mean they're 13 in their net still. So this is a big time quad win on a neutral court. Like, you're in a good spot if you're SMU. One opportunities. Well, they got one right now against Louisville team that may be shorthanded. We'll find out tomorrow. We got to hit a break here on Field 68 After Dark. When we come back, Big 12 breakdown, and get ready, McCall. Jeff Goodman joining from KC.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. March Madness is here, and you know what that means. It's a time of excitement and a time when legends are forged. In other words, it's a time to wear chubby. Skies out, thighs out, baby. It's getting warmer. The clock's moved up an hour, and it's time for Chubbies. Chubbies was founded in 2011 by a group of friends with a simple mission: rid closets of uncomfortable clothes and put the fun back in functional fits. They set out to create shorts, trunks, and polos that put personality back into your wardrobe with fits that look good and feel even better. Chubby shorts aren't just insanely comfortable. They're built with premium fabrics that are quick drying, wrinkle resistant, and antimicrobial. Chubbies keeps you comfy, casual, and dangerously confident. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners a 20% off discount with code F68 at chubbiesshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with code F68. Give your thighs the VIP treatment that they deserve. Support our show and tell them we sent you.
What's up? Welcome back into Field of 68 After Dark, presented by BetMGM. Thanks for listening on SiriusXM Channel 84, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. You get us all the way through the tournament. We've got a fourth member of the squad here, Matt McCall, Jerome McNeil, myself, Dallin Cuff. Jeff Goodman, live and in color from KC with the burnt ends pouring out of his system right now. How we doing, my man? How was round one of the Big 12 tournament?
Not that entertaining, other than a 40 piece from a certain Brockton, Massachusetts native. But other than that, it was kind of ho-hum for the most part. Not a huge first day in the Big 12, but we had some coaches keep their hopes alive, right? I mean, Bobby Hurley, and we'll talk about this. Certainly, they win the game, and Wes Miller, Cincinnati, they win the game, and it just takes them one step closer to making this thing interesting for both. And Wes Miller, who knows where it's going to go? We know where it's going for Bobby Hurley.
Yeah, Jeff, hold on. I get it. This has to be solved right now.
Yeah.
Before we move on in this show.
Yeah.
Is that a treadmill in your room? Because have you ever been on one of those things? Is that a treadmill?
Are you at NBC? Is it the NBC Sports workout room? Do you got a workout room?
No, yeah, it's like a workout room. Yeah, it's one of those. It's a hotel room with. So my workout routine, McCall. It's fanatical. I'm a fanatical. Yeah, no, every day I'm on the something, right? So I don't even know what it is because I work so hard at it. So tonight it's going to be. I'm going to be in the treadmill till I believe I've got carved out an hour from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. tonight. I might sleep on it. I might just sleep on the treadmill.
If you want a real
hit on that if you fall. Like there's an emergency button. Make sure you know how to work that. Okay?
Dude, I'm not kidding. I feel like MSC Suites had me dial one time. They served me one of these rooms. They offered me they're like had a workout. They had a Peloton in the room, and your boy was close to doing it, but it was an extra couple $100. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it wasn't even more
at the time. Didn't seem at the right.
Dude, it wasn't even more money. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take this thing just because it'll look good. It'll look good.
It looks phenomenal. I wish. I mean, that is new. When you said what's in the background, I thought we were going to look at a bidet or something. I thought you were trying to get classy. This is definitely different. Okay, let's come back to the coaching carousel in just a second. AJ did put up a 40 piece real quick, so that was impressive. Before we move on to talk about BYU, let's hear from our guy. We got a couple of Bostonians kicking it around after the game.
All right, AJ, 40 points. More important, the win. You kind of needed this win, didn't you?
Needed it for sure. Just finishing 500 in the Big 12 wasn't ideal for me. But we knew we had to come out in the rounds of, well, I don't even know what round this is.
I don't either.
It's the first round. We know we had to win. You got to win 5 straight to be able to win the championship. So the first one's the most important to get to the second one.
What do you want to accomplish here? Because obviously you're kind of playing for seed, maybe in the NCAA tournament as much as anything else. Obviously you want to win this thing. Yeah. But what else do you want to accomplish, like, team-wise?
Just finding – I mean, we kind of found ourselves. We're just trying to build that momentum going into the tournament. If we're playing for seeding or not, or if we're the same seed, we're just trying to build that momentum going into the real tournament.
All right, give me kind of – how would you describe this season so far for you? We've known each other a while, and, it's been a little up and down.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would say, up and down. Finishing 500, started off, I think, 8-1 or 9-1, and then, falling to 21-10, I think. It's been a little up and down. Big 12 is a tough conference, though. Like, every team you play, they have a chance to be winning it all. But adversity hit, and I needed it for my growth.
Your dad made sure you needed it, right?
Yeah, he kind of told me that early, right when I was going into college. He's like, yeah, you're going to hit adversity, so I hope you're ready for it.
What's the part that you didn't expect? What's the part that's been more difficult than you thought?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of expected everything, having KY here for a year and all my vets, Richie and K, but that kind of told me what to expect, and it's been everything.
I think the biggest thing that impresses me about you, that I wasn't sure, how vocal you are defensively. I mean, I always knew you were vocal, but I didn't know if it would translate to, as a freshman, is that something that you kind of worked on throughout the year? Because you weren't quite doing that against UConn when I saw you.
What you mean?
It was early. You weren't as vocal. You weren't as vocal defensively, not like you were today.
Not yet, but ever since Richie gone down, KY's been telling me I have to be more of a vocal leader. It was in me, but I kind of just wasn't doing it because Richie was doing it. But now that he's out, I'm trying to step into that role and just tell guys what it be.
We know you can talk, right? We know you can talk. Defensively, is that the biggest thing for this team? Because I tweeted at halftime, the first half looked like an AAU game.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we tricked off. I mean, I think we're up by like 10, and it was my fault. I let Haggerty lace up 2 threes, and I kind of started to run. But, yeah, defense is a thing because we could score with anybody. We average like 85 points a game as defense.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
He was outstanding, but that was my concern. My concern with this team, because let's just get his numbers right. They were 16-1, and now they're 22-10. So they've gone 6 of their last 9. I mean, 6 of their last 15 they've won. They're 6-9 last 15. He put up a bunch of points, but Jarrell, I'll go to you first. Defensively, is this team even capable of holding a team down to get a win over a quality NCAA tournament opponent? Is that what they need to do this week? Do they need to prove they can do that? Because we haven't seen that done in a while with them.
I mean, if we're being honest, they haven't been a great defensive team all year, and they've been one of the biggest or highest scoring teams in the country all year. So some of this is their recipe. Like, they're not going to shut people down. They're not going to hold anybody under 60 points. But man, when he's playing like this and they can hang 100 on you on any given night, like, it's more than one way to win. I'll just say that. But I mean, I don't think this is going to be something, or this is a team where we're looking for them to turn the corner and buckle down and be like, okay, this is a great defensive team now. They're not a super deep team to begin with. They don't have strong or great individual defenders. They don't have great rim protection. So, and that's not going to change at this point in the season. So, they kind of gotta, it kind of got to be a run and gun style of game. They got to push up or drive up the amount of possessions that they get in the game. And they got, the wild card because they got, arguably the best player in the country. And he goes on nights like tonight, 40 points off of 21 shots. Like, the efficiency turned it over a little bit. They were a little bit sloppy at times, as he admitted to in the interview, man. But when he's playing at this level, man, they're going to be hard to beat. And it's not going to be a team anybody wants to run into in the tournament. That's for sure.
McCall, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what style of play wins out. First of all, I love the line that he said in the interview just about, I needed that adversity. Like, this adversity is going to make me better. That was talk about big time. Here's the thing, too, about him, and I would say the same thing about Cam Boozer. Those are the 2 best players in the country right now, but they play the game the right way. Like, there were plays in that game, too, where he could have forced the issue offensively, but he makes the extra pass. Like he knows how to play. He has IQ and basketball feel. But you look at the matchup tomorrow, you've got the second best offense in the conference in BYU and the worst offense in the conference in West Virginia. But obviously West Virginia wins games on their defense. So what style is winning out, right? As a coach, you would always get concerned playing against a team that's already played a game in that arena in the conference tournament. They've already played a game. There's not going to be a shoot-around tomorrow for West Virginia. So can this BYU team find their rhythm early on in the game? Like, we used to get all very concerned about that. Like, we've got to rely on our defense early, but how are you slowing this guy down? They've already been in there. There's no shoot-around for West Virginia. Maybe they went over to the arena and watched some of that game. Jeff, you probably would know that if you saw them walk in there. But you would always get a little bit concerned playing against a team that's as talented as BYU is, that has already played a game in that arena with that weird, crazy floor that the Big 12's doing. Every time there's a basket made or a big basket made, it blinks at you. It's pretty impressive how they do that. I don't know, but yeah, I'm if I'm West Virginia, I'm concerned.
I mean, BYU just needs – they need some of those others to show up because as good as AJ is, and again, he's great, but when you do double him, which they did late, they did try to take the ball out of his hands late, and he didn't force it, like you said. Now, he can get to the line. That's the one thing he can do whenever the hell he wants. But a lot of times he just made the right play, pitch it to his teammates, and the one thing he doesn't have right now, he didn't have Rob Wright down the stretch. He was out for the final 12 minutes with a busted lip and a tooth that jammed back, that they had to jam it back into place. He said he's going to play tomorrow. But again, he doesn't have Richie Saunders. He didn't have Rob Wright down the stretch. That's like half of their NIL payroll. And for him to do what he did down the stretch and pull away and do it efficiently and do it making the right play, like you said, he's way more mature than I thought he'd be this year. I honestly did not expect this. I expected his emotions to get the best of him when they were struggling as much as they have in the last month or so of the season, and he hasn't. And I give him a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, tons of maturity. When you look at the field in the 68 bracket, though, we have him as a 6 seed right now, playing Miami University. That's a good matchup for Miami University, honestly, because they're going to let you get some threes up, and they do not a very good defensive team as we just went through, versus another team on the 6th line, Tennessee. They don't want Tennessee, but you would gladly take a BYU team that maybe you could try to outscore, but we're down the road there. BYU's got to continue to do some work, and we'll see what happens at WVU tomorrow. Goodman, before we let you go here, we do want to get into some of the coaching carousel situation. Yeah. You mentioned Bobby Hurley at ASU. That's pretty much a done deal. As it relates to Cincinnati, though, with Wes Miller, I mean, what is your feeling here? If he makes a run, can he survive? And what is a run that's going to get him in the tournament, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I talked to John Cunningham for a little while today, the Cincinnati AD, and we didn't go into all the specifics. I think he wants to keep him. He hired him. He talks about his character. We talked about that today and how hard the team plays and, Wes's commitment, and you could see it on his face on every possession. So I think he'd like to keep him. I think it probably – I hate to say it. I think it might depend on maybe tomorrow and how they fare tomorrow and what they do in this game. They obviously they to me it's something that, again, he hired him. So I think ultimately John Cunningham would love for Wes Miller to be successful there. But how many guys get a 6th opportunity if you go for 0 for 5 and not getting, a good program, a top, 30, 40 program into the NCAA tournament? Not many get a 6th opportunity like Wes Miller would get. So I think it really might come down to tomorrow, which sounds bananas, right, that it comes down to one game. But I think they need some momentum in order for John Cunningham to show that, hey, you know what? And remember, the buyout drops goes from like $10 million to, I think, $5 million, just about $5 million on April 1st. So, we'll see what happens here. But Bobby Hurley, that's going to happen at some point here after the tournament ends. And I think if I'm Graham Rossini, the AD, how do you not make a run at Randy Bennett? He grew up in Arizona. He's long, I don't want to say coveted, but been interested in the Arizona State job. Now, maybe past that point. He's 63, I think now. He may just want to retire in Moraga. But I think you've got to – that should be – I don't care that you have Molly Miller and the football coach is a young dude too. I forget his name right now. You guys might know. But they're young. I don't care if Randy Bennett's in his 60s. Dillingham, thank you. I don't care if he's in his 60s. Randy Bennett would immediately make Arizona State. He'd take the same group to Arizona State, the same money. Now, again, you're playing in the Big 12. I get it. Different league. But we all know Randy Bennett's probably one of the top 10 or 20 coaches in America. That's who I would say, like, hey, blank check, Randy. What do you want here? What do you want? We need you here.
Do you think style of play would factor into that at all? I mean, Randy wins, but sometimes it can be. I mean, it's going to be grind. It's going to be slow. It's going to be.
I don't care. I mean, you got to just get this program. Would you rather play fast and suck? Would you rather, Dallin? You want to play fast and suck, or play slow?
Bro, I want to win games. I'll win in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the culture of the program. Games? I'm just wondering. That's it.
Who's won a lot of games out there in Moraga? Right.
Yeah, he's won a boatload of games.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to be playing in the tournament.
If you don't get him, I don't know where you go next. That's the hard part of Arizona State. It's not a great job. So that one's interesting. Can we talk about one that is really interesting right now, and maybe the most interesting job that probably will be on the market here very soon, which is Syracuse. And I want to get all your thoughts on this one because, hey, everybody's been talking about Josh Ertz. Everybody's been talking about Brian Hodgson at South Florida. Even Mike Hopkins is a name that's come up quite a bit to me lately of a guy that Carmelo, remember Hop recruited Carmelo. That's his guy. I've heard Carmelo really wants to give Hop another shot. Well, what about the guy who just got into the NCAA tournament moments ago? Who's a legend at Syracuse, G-Mac. What about Jerry McNamara? He was passed over for Red Autry. Remember, they were both kind of similar at that point, and they chose Red Autry over Jerry McNamara, and now he has taken Siena to the NCAA tournament for, I believe, the first time in 16 years. 16 years, and he did it in his second year. 2 years ago, they won 4 games, and he just beat number 1 seed Merrimack. Why isn't he at the top of their list right now?
McCall, you got all the sources. You got all the sources. Who are your sources?
They don't have an AD.
It's one phone call.
They don't have an AD. That's the problem.
Wildhack is leaving. So what happens here?
Wildhack is out. They don't have a new AD. Right. They don't have a new AD. They'll have one soon. They don't have one right now. People thought it was going to be Heather Lyke. Now it's probably not going to be Heather Lyke. This other guy, Caparelli or something, I think he's the one that's the favorite right now. But it's kind of in a holding pattern a little bit because they got to figure out who their next AD is. But whoever that next AD is, honestly, and I wouldn't normally say this.
Well, wait, hold on, real quick. Let me not to. Yeah. I'm going to cut you off for a second before you finish. I'll let you get your thought there, but hold on. If you're, we are 3 weeks from the transfer portal opening, 3.5. Yep. They're going to get an AD locked in before. Or is the president making this hire? I guess. What is the order of operations? Do you think this is going to get done? Let's just start there.
No, I think it'll be AD soon. I think it'll be AD any day, and Wildhack's doing some of the stuff right now. The legwork as we speak for the next guy. But I think it'll be more of a next guy type hire because that's who they're going to work for. So or next woman. But yeah, they got to move fairly quick at this point because you've got all these other jobs that are open right now. And they're similar jobs. Syracuse probably, if it opens, is the best job on the market in terms of certainly prestige, right?
This is my thing now, though, guys. Like they won for years, recruiting New York, recruiting Jersey. It's a different world now. Like I don't know if going to Central New York is the vibe it used to be and playing in an ACC. That's not the ACC it used to be. Definitely isn't the old Big East. Jarrell, you're nodding your head. Like, what do you like? Do we look at it because we're of a certain age? Do 18-year-olds give a crap about Syracuse?
No, they do not. And on top of that, they don't know the history, nor do they care to learn the history and what it used to be. Like, yeah, sure, they know Carmelo Anthony went there. Like, you know what I mean? They know those type of things. Everybody knows Boeheim, obviously, and he's still a great pillar in the community and a guy that's still around the basketball landscape as well, too. But no, they don't know the history of it, so it doesn't mean anything now. So that's why with these programs, and I think we all kind of get what they did. They made a choice to kind of put football above the cuff at a basketball school. And that's where they went wrong. Obviously, Boeheim was going to walk out of the door at some point, but they didn't do themselves any favor for a contingency plan with all the stuff that they did as far as the conference. And, you know, from what I'm hearing now, like, you know, the NIL isn't probably what it should be for a place like Syracuse, who has so many, you know, successful people coming in and out of those doors. You got pros, guys like Carmelo Anthony, whose son is there and are willing to come back and give back, and a ton of other donors as well too. So I think the biggest thing now is you got to get the right people. You got to get the right people. And I'm with y'all on that. There's no way. And I played against him, obviously, so I'm a little bit biased, but that's a dude, to me, he epitomizes Syracuse, GMAC, that is. So it'd be negligence for him to at least not get brought in for an interview and considered. That's what I'll say.
Well, he'll have as many NCAA tournaments as Josh Schertz or Brian Hudson at this point.
Yep.
He'll have as many.
That's great. And that's crazy. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there's something to be said for looking outside the family tree, given it was going to be red, or it was going to be GMAC. But honestly, to your point, like, you got to bring these people in and have a conversation, and GMAC is one of them. And if there is a certain, like, you know, the fan base is going to be fired up. It's the obvious choice, and sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice. But I think you have to assess the broader picture first before just saying we're anointing a former prodigal son. Come on back, because we kind of just did that, and that didn't work.
Did not.
Did you see
McCall, you had a thought.
The end of the game tonight, though? Like at the Siena game, and I kept turning my head, and he's hugging his family. He went away. He left. He left Syracuse to go be a head coach. Syracuse made the decision to hire Coach Autry. That was their decision. So you know what GMAC said? Good. Okay, that's my guy. I'm happy for him. I'm going to go down here and prove that I can be a head coach. At a lower level, I'm going to grow. I'm going to develop. I'm going to go through hell in year one. It's going to be really bad, and it's going to be really tough. And I'm going to go through that adversity and grow and get better. And I'm watching the end of that game, and I'm watching the Siena fans, which, oh, by the way, is only like 45 minutes away from Syracuse. I'm watching the game. It's like, this guy's ready. This is if they make a move on Coach Autry, which they have not done yet. But that's what everybody says. Jeff Goodman has all the sources in the world, but he can't give us that information yet. If that's the case, and that's what they do, this guy has been through it, and he is now proven not just going to the NCAA tournament. Had they lost to Merrimack, still look at what he went through in his first year there to build it to where it is now. Even if they lose today, he would still be the guy that I would call. But they didn't, and they play. And sometimes you see, like, in these situations, teams play tense, they play uptight. That team didn't. They played like the best team in that league. Kudos to him. That's one phone call, and it'll help your NIL too, guaranteed.
Yeah, 100%.
It definitely will. I will. Oh my God. He's on
It sucks.
You know what? We can't break, guys. We gotta wait. He's gonna pass out. If we hang out, he'll pass out.
I was about to say, how long is this gonna last?
It sucks.
It sucks.
That's not good for your feet.
Break.
You got flat.
Please break.
We gotta take a break here. We're coming back on Field of 68 after dark. We will look forward to the SEC Big East tournament in Big Ten tomorrow with some big bubble games. Next, here at Field of 68 after dark. He's gonna pass out already.
We are running it back with Splash Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, the Survivor contest that we hosted with Splash paid out $40,000 to the winner. This year, the grand prize pays out a guaranteed $100K. For just $25 an entry and up to 133 entries, you can get a chance to prove that you are smarter than the Field of 68. Survivor is the future of March Madness. Just pick one team every day of the tournament to win, and if they do, you advance. The catch? You can only use each team once. We're also hosting a free-to-enter bracket on Splash. If you're looking to host one of your own, Splash can handle everything for you, from the entries to the payouts to the standings. We'll be running it back with the Sweet 16 Survivor contest as well for those that do not survive the first weekend. And Splash is now offering Quick Picks, a daily fantasy game that allows you to predict whether a player reaches a certain number on a specific stat. All links are in the description below. The big dance starts soon. Get in before it tips off.
Hey everyone, Jeff Goodman here, and I'm excited to tell you about what's going on with our partners at Voodoo Rangers. You know what makes March even better? Chaos. That 111 seed that nobody believed in suddenly ruining everyone's weekend. And this year, Voodoo Ranger wants you to bet on 11. Grab a can of GeForce IPA with 11% ABV, then register that beer at bet11.com. If an 11 seed advances, you have a chance to win a juicy prize, $11,000. We're also taking a trip to Vegas, exclusive GeForce merch. And if an 11 seed pulls off an upset, 1,100 fans could win cash for their next round. It's the juiciest bet of the tournament. No brackets, no stress, just cold beer and beautiful chaos. Visit beton11.com to enter. Win or lose, still got beer. Learn more at bet11.com. You must be 21 or older. No alcohol purchase necessary. Legal in all 50 states. Full rules at beton11.com.
Back here in the field of 68 After Dark, presented by BetMGM. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening on SiriusXM channel 84, 11 o'clock Eastern every night through the national championship, you get us here on SiriusXM. Darrell McNeil, Marquette legend Matt McCall, and Dallin Cuff with you. Let's look forward to some tournaments that are starting tomorrow. So the other big tournaments, we'll also look at through the concept of the odds too. I'd like to just assess what you guys might think about some flyer picks. As we know, in the high major, tournaments aren't always that chalky. Let's start in the SEC. I mean, Florida is undoubtedly the favorite. They've been a wagon. You could argue that Auburn loss they have is their only blemish in the last 2 months, and it's the thing that's keeping Auburn in the mix. Florida's the favorite. When you look at these other teams, are there other teams you might use as a bracket here right now? Are there other teams you think can make a run here that you think could be worth some value, or maybe a couple shekels? McCall, fire away.
Yeah, I mean, this league, Florida has just completely taken over. And it didn't matter, playing against Arkansas last weekend, running through them with Darius Acuff, the player of the year in the league. They go to Texas A&M. You think maybe Bucky Ball can trip them up. They take care of business and win by 20. Earlier than that, they go to a dangerous Georgia team who's extremely athletic. They beat them by 20. They went on the road against Vanderbilt. They've blown out Tennessee. This is just going to be one of those things. Is Florida locked in, and how much does this SEC tournament mean to them? Because that's how they're playing. Where is Acuff in terms of the foot and the ankle? How healthy is he? Alabama's had their ups and downs. Charles Bediako, that whole situation. I don't see it. Nate Ament, it looked like, based on X today, that he was practicing with Tennessee. So that helps their team, obviously. You're getting 17, 18 points back out there. I don't know that there's a team that I trust, because every single time you think Florida's going to trip over their own feet, they don't do it. And so which team can make them trip over their own feet or can take it to them? It's just, I don't know that there's a team it's going to come down to Florida. And are they hungry and still hungry to win an SEC tournament championship, to go back to back? Because they won. That's what started the run to the Final Four of the national championship last year, was the SEC tournament. Winning the SEC tournament last year, beating Tennessee the way that they did, winning that tournament catapulted them to the national championship. And that's the other thing for me. Everybody that says these tournaments don't matter, sometimes it gives you momentum when you're a team like that. You win the conference tournament championship, it catapults you to a Final Four and a national championship. So I think it boils down to Florida and what's their interest level and how hungry are they going to be to win this, because they've just been steamrolling everybody.
Jarrell, will you give me another team that has a value on it? Because McCall did not. Is there another team you would put any shekels
He
on,
did
or is it
not.
just straight up Florida?
He
did not.
He wasn't going against Florida. There was no way that was going to happen. That anything
Not
out of his
happening.
mouth was going to be against Florida. No, I got one for
guys,
you though.
I always take the Gator. I'm a professional. I'm a professional.
Dude, always unless he's always doing a chomp. He's chomping all the time. My Lord.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are doing this nonsense all the time.
If I had to choose one, I would go Vandy. And I don't think Matt is wrong, but I do think at some point, as hot as they've been, maybe they get a lull there after their first game on the back-to-back, having to play a Vandy team. I don't think if they make it to the title game that you're gonna beat them. You put a trophy on the court, they're gonna be motivated. So I think maybe they could slip up. Vandy can make a run, and you could get pretty good odds for that. Though. I'll take my chance with that team. They got older guys, obviously. Tyler Tanner, Nickel, Miles. You know, they got enough pieces. They got enough depth. I feel like where they might be able to pull off a shocker and get Florida.
That's the thing with betting futures for me all the time is I'm obsessed with the bracket and your path, and I want to increase my odds. So when I have a Florida team that's that dominant, I want to go bottom of the bracket. And we don't know if A-Cuff's playing or not. We're not sure what's going on with that. I don't think Arkansas can defend enough. Based on the numbers, I would take Alabama with a flyer plus 750. I don't think it would be a little tiny sprinkle, if anything. But because the one problem of Vandy's the 4 seed. They're on Florida's side. And the physicality of Florida concerns me with Vanderbilt's team. But we know they're super talented. But I think when you're looking at futures and what to play, to me, it's how do things stack up and how can you see your path getting to a situation like that and getting to a final first and foremost. And then can you win it? All right, let's look at the Big East here now too. We've always said this is a 2-horse race. We just saw UConn lose to Marquette on the road. We've seen them struggle their way through things. St. John's is the outright champ because of that loss. UConn suffered at the hands of Marquette on the road. They're the 2 seed down there with Nova. You see Seton Hall takes on Creighton. You see the first round games there starting tomorrow. Fellas, just go here real quick before we get to the odds of it necessarily. Do you like St. John's and UConn? Is it St. John's, UConn, or anybody else? If it's St. John's and UConn, who you got? McCall, we'll start with you again.
I thought you were going to go to the Big East guy. I thought you were going to go to
after the answer you gave last time, I'd rather have Jarrell finish it for sure. Okay, I want him to clean it up.
Okay. Go ahead. I want to say this, and I'm not saying this because he's my guy and we're on the show together. This Marquette team, these young boys from Marquette, Nigel James Jr. is a freshman that does not get talked about nearly enough, in my opinion. Adrian Stevens is an absolute bucket from behind the three-point line. Royce Parham, they have a young core that I wasn't shocked when they knocked off UConn. It didn't shock me. Those guys have grown up and gotten better. So I'm looking at that bracket, and I'm saying this Marquette team is a team that I feel like could make a run and win a couple games in the tournament. But you gotta think that Coach Hurley's going to have this team fired up, motivated, just like he had them against St. John's just a couple weeks ago, just 10 days ago, however long ago it was. So I think we get the St. John's UConn final. I think UConn, we get a battle. I think it's not going to be a 32-point game like it was, but those two teams are getting to the final. They've been head and shoulders above everybody else in the league. With that Marquette team, with Nigel James Jr. leading the way as a freshman, I am so intrigued by that bunch. I know they have Xavier tomorrow because of what he's been able to do as of late. But I think we get UConn St. John's final.
They've brightened my day a little bit too, Matt, toward this last quarter of the season because listen, that young core nucleus that you're talking about wasn't really visible early on where we could see it clearly. Nigel James has kind of been the constant. Some of that was by necessity because of some of the setbacks that Sean Jones had as well too. But I could see it coming together. I'm excited about the future as well too. I do want them to win that game because I would love that rematch, that quick turnaround match against UConn again. Another team to keep your eye on that I am intrigued by, and I also got a chance to cover a handful of their games this year, is the DePaul team Much improved team. Coach Hoban has done a terrific job. And just from a talent standpoint, man, those guys have enough talent on that team to be an upper echelon. It's not a mistake that they finished where they finished in the Big East this year. It's a step in the right direction. A little bit of a slight as well, too. I thought N.J. Benson should have made one of the Big East teams. He's been constant. He's been a beast on the interior all year for those guys as well, too. So I'll be interested to see if DePaul can beat Georgetown.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't see St. John's losing before the final. I'd be shocked if UConn lost before the final, especially given the fact of what happened in their last game. But, you know, these guys, UConn has to defend. That's what they got to do. All right, we got to move. We got to get to the afters in a few minutes. If you want a question, stay with us right in the afters. We'll be on there for a few minutes. We're going to end the night with toast of the night. Big night, to say the least. McCall, you lead us off. Who's your toast of the night to?
GMAC, Sienna.
Okay.
You know, to that program for, you know, him taking it over, leaving Syracuse the way that he did, going down there, going through adversity. High praise to him. Great to see. There's nothing better when you get an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament and punch your ticket, winning your conference tournament. The embrace with him and his family, his parents, his wife, his kids. That's my toast. Toast to you, GMAC. Absolutely, man. Enjoy it. Maybe we can play golf this offseason.
Dude's always trying to get a free round.
I almost decided to go Bam Adebayo, but I said to hell with that. This is our time. It's March. College basketball. Shame on those refs because shame on those refs. He shot 43 free throws. They should be suspended indefinitely. Who wants to sit there and watch that? I'm going my guy, DeMarco Minor, game winner for Pitt over Stanford. And he got to put back there, better known as Polo. So shout out to Polo, man.
Polo got it. Mine goes to Preston Edmean, man. Freshman of the year in the CAA. When they were down, Hofstra was down. He was great. He had 26 in the game. Helped lead them back. They punched their ticket. Speedy's taking them back to the dance for the pride. All right. For Jarrell, Matt, I'm Dallin. We'll see you in the afters. If you're listening on SiriusXM Channel 84, again, 11 o'clock Eastern every night through the National Championship. We out. See you in a few.
Taking care of your mental health shouldn't be harder than taking care of your physical health. If you pull a muscle, you go see a doctor. But when it comes to finding the right therapist, suddenly it's frustrating. You've got long wait lists or you're staring down huge out-of-pocket costs. That's where Rula comes in. Rula makes therapy simple, affordable, and fast. They work with most major insurance providers, and the average session copay is just $15. And with Rula, you're not matched and left to figure it out. They check in and they make sure that you're actually making progress. Every therapist on the platform is licensed, vetted, and picked for their expertise. So you know you're talking to someone legit, not whoever happens to be available. You answer a couple questions and Rula connects you with an in-network provider who actually fits your needs. You can be talking to a therapist as soon as the next day. Thousands of guys have already used Rula to get the care that they need. Don't keep putting it off. Go to rula.com/F68 and get started today. That's RULA.com/F68. Take the first step, get connected, and take control of your mental health.
These my DJ Burns things I had for.
That was like taking them into the depths of Alaska and just dropping them off.
The first person that's going to die has got to be one of the black guys. They're not going to make it to the end of the movie.
That's like asking somebody, do they want to get a prostate exam or a damn gunshot wound?
Welcome back into the Field of 68 After Dark, presented by BetMGM. You're in the afters now. Jarrell McNeil, Matt McCall, I'm Dallin Cuff. Congrats to the 5 teams that punched their tickets. Long Island technically had already done it yesterday because they're playing Mercyhurst. I'm tired of this crap. Mercyhurst should have win the game and go. They did matter. They lost. Long Island won. Congrats to them.
Enough.
They win the NEC.
If you're in the conference tournament, let them in.
It's a good point. Why are they even playing in the tournament? We've seen it like every year. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's nuts. Wright State gets a dub coming from behind out of the horizon. They were the 1 seed there. Sienna wins the Little Mac, if you will. Hofstra out of the CAA as a 3 seed there. And Gonzaga, they were down at half to Santa Clara, came back, won a championship yet again, and the Zags have punched their ticket. So with that said, let's hear from the coaches now that are moving on to the big dance.
And now let me welcome onto the field of 68, fresh off of taking LIU back to the NCAA tournament, Rod Strickland. Rod, 3 wins in your first season. 4 years later, you're here in the NCAA tournament. It's got to feel good to be able to realize the success that you saw in this program.
Absolutely amazing. Actually, I was telling the team like the last 10 years, the number 1 seed only got to the tournament twice. So it's not easy being a target and really accomplishing it. So after 3, 7, 17, now 24 wins to win the regular season, the conference, and now headed to the tournament, it's a big deal. Like I'm definitely humbled and excited about it.
Yeah, you've been in basketball for a long time, and you've been at every level of the game. What is it like to experience this at the mid-major level of college basketball, right? Like you've been at the highest of highs when it comes to this sport. What is it like to do this for LIU at a program that's very different than what you experience in the NBA?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been amazing. It's been great. But I love basketball. I feel like I've touched so many pieces of basketball. People forget I was at Kentucky when we won the title. I was at Memphis. I was working at the NBA office, with Team Ignite. And now to come here and kind of change the culture and get it to where it's at, for me, that's what it's all about. I just want to be able to be in an environment and improve the environment. And I think that's what I was able, or we were able to do. And then to see these young guys, realize their dreams and goals, to go through the whole season, the way things happen. It's been a journey, man. It's been great. It's been great.
So you got 5 days here before you find out who you even have to prepare for. So what are you doing this week? Are you giving the guys a couple day off? Is it back in the lab tomorrow at 6 a.m.? What are we doing this week?
They asked me that too, but no, they'll be off tomorrow for sure. We'll probably take a day or 2 off, get them rejuvenated. I'm sure they're gonna have a good time and celebrate this victory tonight. So yeah, we'll probably take a couple days off, and then we got to get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you deserve to have a night of celebration. You deserve to have a night off tomorrow. All right, let's end it with this. Everybody loves Cinderellas. Everybody loves the upset. Everybody loves those mid majors that go on runs. Why LIU? Why can your group pick off one of the big boys and make a run in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if I even want to speak like that. I would say this. I love my group. I think like we had a mid-major schedule this year, a tough schedule, and we played against mid-majors, really good mid-majors, and we played against some high majors, and we played with them. So I'm comfortable with my group. I think all we have to do, I always say, if we defend, if we rebound the ball 50-50, if we're the tougher team, we got a chance to win. So I just want these guys to be free, to understand that we're capable, and we'll just go from there.
Well, listen, Rod, I appreciate you jumping on. Go celebrate with your friends. Go celebrate with your family. Go enjoy this victory, man. You earned it. And now let me welcome onto the field of 68, the champion of the CAA, Speedy Claxton, Hofstra head coach, heading back to the NCAA tournament, man. Speedy, let me tell you this. I don't know if you've seen the clips yet, but the cameras, the HD 4K cameras, caught you getting really emotional on the sideline after that game, after that win. And that's one of those moments that I think is going to stick with people for a long time. What were you feeling in that moment as you punched your ticket to the dance?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just had to let it out, man, because this was a long time coming. These kids worked extremely hard all year long, and we had a great non-conference slate. And then even at the start of our conference play, we did well, but then we kind of got injured there, and then we lost 5 in a row. But to these kids' credit, like they never wavered, and I try to tell them, like, listen, we're injured right now. Like everybody goes through highs and lows throughout the season. Like right now, this is our low. We just got weather the storm, get healthy, and once we got healthy, we got back on track. Like the only team that beat us while we were at full strength was Wilmington. And honestly, I thought we should have won that game, quite honestly.
For you, I think it means more. I mean, it usually does, right? I mean, it's your school.
Definitely means more. 1,000%.
it's everything. I mean, it's the pride, right? The pride. That's what it's all about for you. And the school hadn't gone in 25 years.
Yeah.
You had knocked on the door. You've heard
Well,
me.
we did go during the COVID year, Jeff.
All right. You got me. You got me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, you could just see it pouring out of you. And like you said, it's for the kids, but it's also a lot about you, because I think a lot of people doubted you when you got the job.
I try not to make it about me.
Yeah.
But that's probably why the emotions poured out of me at the end of the game, because I know people doubted me. I feel like a lot of people thought that I got this job because of who I am.
Yeah.
So for me to win the championship, like, says a lot. Like, nah, like, who cares? Maybe I did get the job because of who I am.
Whatever.
That's right. But I completed the task.
Yes.
And listen, I got the program in a good place.
And now let me welcome onto the field of 68 Wright State head coach Clint Sargent, coming off of a win in the Horizon League championship game. And you were saying you got hit with about 2 gallons of shaving cream. Is that right?
Yeah. Sorry if I can't hear you guys, because it may still be in my ears and up my nose. But all good problems. All good problems.
Is that some in your hair, or is that gray hair?
That's great. That's from how we were shooting the ball and my 5 children. So yes, that's
all right. That's fair. That's fair. Hey man, your second year since taking over, obviously, it's a proud program, and you learn from one of the best. But what does it mean for you to be able to kind of get this program back in the NCAA tournament?
I'm glad you said that, because Scott Nagy is one of the best, and I've always considered myself very well led throughout my career. That's head coaches I played for, administrators, and being, just being able to take over for him in a place that I love. Been here 10 years, uniquely have a ton of league experience, but Wright State means an awful lot, because I've grown husband, father in this place. So to be able to have these moments and celebrate it with people that you've done life with is very special.
You guys, you were the 1 seed in this bracket, in this tournament. And, there's always a little bit of pressure in a one big league as the 1 seed. And you got yourselves down there a little bit in the second half. Take me through kind of the pressure of that comeback and being able to execute and come from behind and win that game.
Yeah, thankfully we've led for almost 2 months throughout the course of our league season. So we've been I feel like we've been in a lot of pressure games, and thankfully 2 weeks ago we got beat at home by Robert Morris, and I thought it was a really good, important learning moment for me, how to grip a big game, for our players, how to understand what that feels like. And then we just have an incredibly deep roster, a very connected roster. I know that gets said a lot, but I do think it's very true of our team. So when you get in the moment, you're just trying to stay consistent relationally and present, and not let your guys catch you get negative or doubt. And that's really a credit to our staff and top to bottom our roster and their maturity.
Great stuff. Thanks to Speedy, thanks to Coach Sargent, and thanks to Rod Strickland for joining the show and to go through their thoughts and feelings and punching a ticket along with Gonzaga, along with Siena tonight. Just McCall, what are your thoughts on that? You've had that experience as a coach. What's it like to climb that mountain?
I mean, it's hopefully my wife and kids are in bed, because there's no better feeling. I mean, outside of your children being born and getting married and putting the rent, it's just. It's unbelievable, especially in those leagues. Like, just you win, the streams come down, what you done, the outpouring from your school or whatever it may be. I'm hearing from Coach Claxton and Coach Joe Mahalik, who he took over for, and you see how emotional Coach Claxton was at the end of that. He got the job in a very difficult situation when Coach Mahalik's health was turning bad, and never got that opportunity to coach in the NCAA tournament because of that COVID year. And he got the job. I remember every single time every July 4th, I'm in Franklin Square, Long Island, where my wife's from. That's our tradition. We always go there, and Coach Mahalik would know it, and he would ask me to come over and talk ball. And Coach Claxton would be in there, and we'd be talking pick and roll coverage, or we'd be talking, press, or we'd be talking, offensive execution. And he gets that opportunity, and that's difficult and that's challenging, and he's handled it unbelievably when you think about it. And to get this team to the tournament, being an assistant coach at his alma mater and now being the head coach, you see the emotion pour out. It's because there's nothing like it. And for this program, Hofstra, they've had legendary coaches come through there. Obviously, Coach Jay Wright was there. Now they're going to go they're going to go to the tournament for all guys. Once their name's called on Selection Sunday, it's life-changing stuff. It really is. And there's nothing better.
Joe, what are your thoughts?
No, I think you hit it on the head, and you can see just really in all of those interviews what it means to those guys, the amount of time, the amount of sacrifice that coaches have to make, and Matt could speak to this too, the amount of time you spend away from your family, and for coaches is worse than players. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. It's year round for those guys. So hats off to all of those guys, and obviously on the flip side of because where I know we just lost Jeff here a minute ago, but he loves to stick it to the former NBA guys and former players who don't do well in college. And
well said, Jarrell.
It's
Yes.
refreshing to get a couple of former NBA guys who didn't have shit handed to them. They
right.
worked for it. They came up through the ranks.
Damn
they paid
right.
their dues. And they're getting the opportunity to succeed and win in the end. So great for all of those programs, but specifically that I had to point that one out.
That's
Hell
a phenomenal point. I love it. That's great. And congratulations to all of them. And we'll have more tickets punched as we go through the week. And tomorrow, I think we got a couple other ones. We'll get to that a little later in the show. Any questions, guys? We got any questions coming our way here from the crew?
Fellas, while we wait for our guest here, surprise guest, I do want to talk about the Big Ten tomorrow. McCall wanted to talk about the Big Ten. We didn't get a chance to get to it during the show. So we can talk about the Big Ten bracket and kind of what we got going on tomorrow.
All right. Do you guys got the graphic? Can you pop up the Big Ten real quick? Take a look at it. If we don't have it, let's just go through it. You go through your big pictures as we go into it. McCall, you did cover it in Peacock's studio tonight for the opening round.
Yeah, Bubblicious, right, for Indiana. This is a game that you have to feel like they have to win against Northwestern. This is, I don't want to say win and you're in, but that's probably where we are. These two teams lined up, a few weeks back.
Yep.
Nick Martinelli leads the league in scoring. It's like, okay, how are you going to take him away? What are you going to do? Are you going to double him? Are you going to send the double team? But he's such a good passer. But the thing that makes him so good is not only is he an elite level passer, he's great with moving without the ball. So when the double comes and he throws it out of the double team, now he's constantly on the move. So how is Indiana going to handle that with Martinelli? What are they going to do? They're going to be feeling the pressure of this game. And how do they handle that? How are they, managing that, knowing that if you lose, you're on the outside looking in. These two teams played, and Indiana was up 42-20 or 42-33 at halftime. 42-33. And they made 50% of their threes in the first half, and then Northwestern just absolutely clamped them. They scored 26 points in the second half, 68 points for the game. So are they going to be able to make threes? Here's the thing and the key for me with Northwestern. When that double team comes with Martinelli, when the ball comes out, because they're not a great three-point shooting team, but when the ball comes out of those double teams, if they can make some threes, and Jaden Reed was terrific today, had 9 assists, 14 points. He was outstanding just in terms of running that team. But if Northwestern's going to make some threes tomorrow, when they do double Orlando, Indiana's in some problem because they're going to feel the pressure. If this game's coming close down the stretch, they're going to know that we have to win this to get into the NCAA tournament. So if Northwestern can kick in some of those threes with how good they are defensively and feeling confident winning that game today the way they did, man, Indiana's in some trouble.
You said they got to win and they're in. The only problem I have with that is you're beating a non-tournament team. And currently, the fielding is 68. They're the last team in. And again, this isn't in a bubble. This isn't a vacuum. You got a lot of those things going on. They got Wisconsin if they do win this game. I think you beat Wisconsin. Now you feel good. You beat Northwestern. All you did was stave off, elimination, if you will. Like I don't. It keeps you allowed to improve your resume, but you didn't really improve your resume. So. We'll see. But they got to win one tomorrow. To your point, they got to win the one tomorrow. And we'll see if they actually can do that. Jarrell, are you in the same tip when you think about Big Ten, or are you looking at something else that's interesting to you?
No, I think as far as the games tomorrow go, because the Big Ten is now just the longest tournament almost, it seems like, with so many days and the triple and double buys. But I think that's probably the game of the night. And it's, again, one of those games where they just played them. And like Matt said, Martinelli dominated that game in the second half, and they did a hell of a job of slowing down Wilkerson. I'll be interested just to see what Indiana does just schematically, because they seem to kind of do the same thing. They switch a lot. They ended up having a double and full rotate out of a lot of those double teams because they end up with a small guy on a big guy a lot after somebody throws it into the post. They did that with Martinelli, and he had him in the torture chamber that second half. So I got to at least think that they're going to throw some different looks at him, maybe not switch as easy or try something different on ball screen coverages so that they don't get those built-in mismatches right away, and he can get the ball in on the block or at the mid post and just play out of it right away. So I'll be interested to see it. I'm sure they're not looking forward to it, but it's a game they got to win. I think you made a good point as well, Dallin. Just like they got to win the game, but I'm not sure if this puts them in if they win, because it's almost the flip side of what we were talking about earlier, like that the Pitt loss, like being super bad. Like this is a game where it's like they win it, they're supposed to win it. I'm not sure how much credit they'll get for it, but at the same time, with so many teams losing the day that we're on the bubble, they got to win it to at least have a chance. So it'll be an interesting game, but I do think that's the game of the night.
Mm-hmm. What else we got, guys?
All right, fellas, we'll keep it on the bubble. So obviously I sent you guys the bracket and everything earlier with our first four in, or our last four in, and our first four out. I want you guys to pick your 4 teams that you would want in. You would want in, not you think is going to get in. Who do you want to be in on those 8 teams?
Okay, so you want out of the field in the 68, last 4 in, first 4 out. Just so everybody has the whole list of teams. NC State, SMU, VCU, Indiana, they're in. First 4 out. Virginia Tech is first. Stanford, Auburn, Cal. Go ahead, McCall. Who you like?
I'm going to start with VCU. I want them in. I want VCU in. How hard they play, Coach Phil Martelli Jr., the job that he's done in year 1 with that program. I want VCU 100% in, because they're going to get matched up with someone in the first round. They'll be a higher seed, and you're going to be concerned if you're the coach side playing against that team with how hard they play. I'm going to say NC State. I want them in. Coach Will Wade, taking over that program, home run hire when he was hired. Everyone was kind of scratching their heads. When at times wasn't going this well, it's still year 1. And that he's going to figure it out and be near the top of the ACC. So give me NC State, give me VCU, give me SMU. I just want to see Boopy Miller, because I feel like Boopy Miller can win a game in the NCAA tournament, and he's going to be in one shining moment. So those 3 are locks. Oof. I'm going to go Virginia Tech just because Mike Young's my guy. former SoCon guy, competed against him. No better guy in college basketball. Give me those 4.
Jarrell, before you answer, hold on. This is what I think is problematic with this year's bubble. When you are putting teams in because I coached against the guy and that's my guy, we got issues. We're struggling to make an argument for the team's performance over the year. I love Mike Young. I love Mike Young. But this is what it says about the bubble. In years past, I could make an argument, be like, this team, da-da-da-da-da, for this reason, over this team. I'm laboring through here with these 8 teams. Jarrell, go ahead.
I'm with you, and it's crazy, but it's like it's not a cop out. I want the last 4 in to be in, and I don't think that's really saying much. But the teams that we have in, NC State, SMU, I'm with you on that. Boopy Miller has the magic. Chicago guard, you want to see a guy like that in the tournament. I think VCU is deserving, and these mid-majors don't need to get completely hosed like they do every year. I would much prefer to see them to some of these other teams that aren't as good or haven't done their work early. And I'll even keep Indiana in there just because I'm with you on them, VT, maybe even Stanford in the mix, just because they all have either a special player or they have pieces offensively where it's like, hey, this team could get hot in a hurry. They can fill it up. They'd be fun to watch against another really competitive, higher seeded team. But outside of that, it's just like, and let's just state the obvious. Like after the last couple of weeks, nobody wants to see Auburn in. Like I think we can all agree upon that. They did it to themselves. Like nobody wants to see that. I'm not enthused by Cal either. I don't think they've done enough to solidify themselves. Obviously, that can change as well too. But I'll take the last 4 that we got in now.
See, this is where I mean, if Stanford didn't lose, I would give you a full-throated. Okay, I'm getting cut off. Okay, what do we got? We got a guest here. Coach Few's joining us here on Phil 68. My man, where is he at? We see him. Coach Few, congratulations, man. Another WCC championship. You're on with Terrell McNeil, Matt McCall, myself, Dallin Cuff. Thank you so much. These things I think we may take for granted, the level of success that you guys have had. This is now your 29th straight WCC final. What is that feeling to do it again, to win a title and to hold that trophy with this group of guys?
I mean, hey, I think it's a great feeling to see these guys, to see the joy on their face and to see the emotion, on especially with all the adversity, injuries, we've kind of overcome in the different line change, mix and match, figured out. Yeah, this is just a great reward. Obviously, on the way to, we've kind of moved on to where we're always being judged on, these next couple of weeks. So we're used to that, and that's what we take a lot of pride in. And this is the time of year we, are always looking forward to getting to.
Coach, does it ever get old? Like ever? And that's what I don't understand. Like you guys have dominated. Does it ever get old or no? Climbing those nets, climbing those ladders, cutting those nets down. Just how special is it so everybody understands?
Yeah,
because I like kind of referred to are just guys, tears and
wow, some technical problems with Coach. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him back. But it is funny. He alluded to what I think is so interesting about that program. You have so much success, and then the outside world continues to judge you on just what happens the next 2 weeks. But mind you, they've been to they had a Sweet 16 streak. You've been to a national championship, been to a Final Four. Like they've done it all except for climb those final nets. And what he's done in that program, what they built in their last year, the WCC too. Now moving on to the new Pac-12, it's been remarkable to watch, Terrell.
Yeah, it has been, and they're unfairly, like we all kind of alluded to, just judged. Essentially, now it doesn't matter what they do in conference. We judge them.
Hold on, Drew. I think we're back. We got Coach back.
Okay.
Are we back?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't touch anything.
you
I got
could
a
just-
bad rap with technology.
We're working
my
through
staff. I touched nothing, but I seem to have this effect
doing great.
on everything.
It's all right. I mean, I was hosting the show last week and my thing crapped out 6 times, so it happens to all of us. It's not ideal. McCall was asking you before about explain how special it is to still to have that opportunity to win a title, regardless of how the outside world, as you mentioned, may judge you guys on just the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, we judge ourselves on that too. You know, that's our standard. We've been to 2 national championship games. You know, and you know, we know there's still that last step to take. But I would just say what I was saying was just everything we've been through this year. You know, it was very, very important for us to finish this thing out strong. And as we're rounding it, if you think about everything he's been through with, you know, his heart issues, and then, you know, we had to go all the way through the court system to get him eligible to play. And I mean, that's what I was watching, and that brings me great just self-satisfaction and very content and happy to witness all that today at the end of that game in the award ceremony.
Coach, do you feel like you guys obviously there's no replacing a guy like Huff, but do you feel like you guys have kind of found your stride here going into the NCAA tournament with the absence of him and some other guys having to step up?
Yeah, no, it's really, really forced us to do a lot of different things, and I became a more of a defensive team this year. You know, I think our offense has always been top 5, you know, year in and year out, you know, and even our really, really good years, you look at 17 and 21. 17, we had the number 1 defense in the country, and 21, I know we're in the top 5 defensively. But it was really well our defense and just kind of offense because they're always conscious.
Coach, we'll try to get you one more here. Just in terms of as you move forward here and look at where you guys are potentially are seated and stuff. With this group, you have a lot of veterans, but maybe not played together in this tournament setting. What do you think you took away from earlier parts of the year when you played high-level competition in tournaments and this tournament now? How does that affect this group now with Braden was part of the team and now no longer part of the team as you move forward?
Yeah, well, again, we're still working to get him healthy. So, and obviously Jalen Worley he's played these last 2 games, so we're still a work in progress and something we're hoping to, you know, eventually get to. But yeah, hey, it's developed all these other guys. We have an exceptional young freshman in Davis Fogel, as it's opened up all kinds of opportunities for him. He's a great young player that can make plays off the bounce. He can score on all 3 levels. He's long, he's athletic, and he's got a nice feel for the game. And it's just, you know, we've been able to kind of reinvent some things and play differently, and it's definitely gave us more versatility on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach, last one for you. I know there was an.
Well, hang on. I want to flip the script here, and you guys don't have to take any of this. This is for Goodman, who always these great accolades on Graham, but yet the field of 68 All-American team, I don't see Graham Ike on any of those 3 teams, and I'm wondering who the hell is voting on this team, and you know, is there any basketball? Any basketball?
I got to tell you. Hold on, raise your hand if you voted on that field of 68 team. Jarrell, did you vote?
Oh yeah, no,
Jarrell,
I
did
voted.
you vote?
I voted.
You voted?
I did
McCall,
not
did you vote?
I did not vote.
Well, Coach, I didn't vote either. So I am not getting the line for this.
Blame Goodman, Coach. Blame Goodman.
That's what I started
I'm
this
with
with.
you.
Not on you guys. This is on Goodman, but it's asinine, quite frankly. So anyway, Matt, what was the last one of the day?
No, Coach, I know there was an epic fishing trip one time with some legendary coaches. You, Coach Billy Donovan, Coach Urban Meyer, and a legend in Duke Warner. Who is the best fisherman out of the group?
Well, the best fishing trip we took was me and Billy. I mean, we would not do it in this day and age, but we drove 2 hours from Cabo up to this distant place that a buddy gave me a tip on, and we went rooster fishing up there. Probably wasn't the smartest thing because we were on our own in a rental car. It's a little, it gets, but I would just say this: I get a lot more reps at it than those guys. So, take that for what it's worth. I get a lot more reps. I'm trying to get Billy more reps, but he's always working too hard.
Coach, we appreciate your time, man. Congratulations yet again. We cannot wait to watch your boys lace it up Thursday or Friday next week back in the big dance.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Congrats, Coach. Thanks.
Coach.
Yo, guys, hold up real quick. Graham Ike was not on the field of 68 All-American. Come on, bro. For real? For real.
He didn't
I'm indicted.
make it.
Jarrell, did you vote for him? I mean, come on.
I'm trying to think. I gotta go look at my list now. I don't know if I voted for him. I might have left him off. I might have hosed him.
I should have told Coach he was on my top 15 Wooden Award list. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that's just, there you go.
Yeah.
He's on the top 15 Wooden Award list.
There it is.
There it is. Oh, moly. All right. Well, thanks for Coach. We appreciate his time, no doubt. Congratulations to them. Win another WCC, their last one as they move to the newly minted Pac-12 next year. We're wrapping things up here in Field of 68 After Dark. Every 11 o'clock Eastern time, get Field of 68 After Dark on SiriusXM Channel 84. And, of course, you can catch us on the socials all the time. And, of course, here in the afters. For Matt, Jarrell, I'm Dallin. We out.